Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy SL Official back with a new legit check video. In today's one, I'm showing you how to spot a pair of fake Alexander McQueen sneakers from the newest collection. If you own a consignment store and you want to make sure all the products you're getting in are authentic, or you just shop a lot online for pre-owned goods and you want to make sure they're real, be sure to hit the subscribe button as I do a lot of authentication style videos on this channel. But anyway, let's get started with this one. So first up, we're going to look at the shoe tongue. Before I get into detail and speak about the differences here, if you didn't already know, there has been a change. So previously the C of the McQueen was inside the Q, but this isn't the case anymore. As you can see on the latest collection, the C is just positioned like a normal letter. Now the only reason I've mentioned this is because I had a load of comments on Instagram. A lot of people didn't realize this difference, and it is quite an important detail to mention. Just because you can't authenticate the shoes based on the positioning of that C, it could be inside or outside the Q on both legit and fake shoes. Now in terms of what you want to be looking for on the current fakes, if you pay attention to the Alexander McQueen print on the shoe tongue, that should help. A lot of fakes don't print the text in the correct tone of gold. Usually it's just a bit too dark and that gives it away. Now if we move down a bit and look at the eyelets that the laces go through, what you'll notice is that the fake ones look overly white in colour. The laces are also a slightly different colour as well. Again, they look a bit whiter on the fake pair, but these are really subtle differences, and if you don't have both in hand, this will be difficult to spot, especially if you're looking at pictures online, for example. So up next, I'm going to show you some easier details to use. So here we have the 5 perforations on the side of the shoe. You're looking at the fake one now, and what you'll notice sometimes is that those little circles aren't really cut properly. Sometimes you might just find the edges of those circles being a bit too rough, but in this case you can see there's actually been like a double perforation on one spot, and something like that just won't happen on the real deal. So that's definitely one thing to look out for. Again, there will be some fakes which don't have that flaw. If you look at the other side of this fake, for example, you can see the holes are a lot better. They're still not as neat as on the real ones, but it just goes to show you how fine the margins can be. Up next, we're going to switch our attention to the shape of the toe boxes. What you'll see now in the real one is that it's shaped pretty evenly. It's not too pointy, it's not arced up too highly. But when we take a closer look at the fake pair, it does both those things I just said the real ones don't do, and that makes it easy to identify them straight away. If at any point during this video you do want to have a look at a previous season real versus fake on the Alexander McQueens, you can do that. I'll leave a link in the top right and in the description box. But anyway, let's get back to looking at the differences on the fall winter 2019 version. So the next thing I want to show you is the sole on the shoes. So we have this kind of dipped and rounded rectangle which has Alexander McQueen written in the middle. On the real pair, you'll notice that the font is very sharp. The inside edges of that rectangle were very smooth, but when I showed you the fake pair just a few moments ago, you saw how rough the edges were. It almost looks unfinished, and this just won't happen on genuine Alexander McQueen sneakers. Another thing is the sole color doesn't look quite right on the fake pair, and then that textured pebble-like appearance that goes around the outside edge of the sole, it looks flatter on the authentic shoes. Alright, so we're almost done now, but we've got 2 more things to look at on the heel of the shoes. And again, one of them is going to be that print. So like we saw on the tongue, that C can be inside or outside of the Q. But once again, the same issue that occurs on a lot of the fakes, as I mentioned previously, is them not getting the tone of the gold correct. It's just a bit too dark here. And then also you want to be paying attention to the shape of this kind of black leather panel on the back. On new shoes, this area is going to be well structured and well shaped, and it will just look the part. The fake one doesn't quite cut it here. Bear in mind though that if you are buying pre-owned, it will have bent out of shape a bit with wear. So lastly, we've got the packaging. I'm not going to do a comparison here just because the boxes are completely different. This is the fall winter 2019 box, the new edition. We've got the dust bag with the logo on the front and the back, laces and card inside the box. Moving on to the fake, the box is very creased. The logo isn't quite right. The color of the box isn't accurate either. If we get inside the box, we've got holes in the box, just looking very crumpled, very low quality. The dust bag isn't quite right either. There are loads of mistakes, and that's how we know this one is a fake. Details on the packaging and extras from the previous season Alexander McQueen sneakers can be found via the link in the description. As I said earlier, that's a link to the old real versus fake guide. That may be helpful for some of you, but I assume most of you will be looking to buy newer season stuff. Either way, I've got videos for both scenarios, so just pick whichever one you need the most. But yeah, that's covered all the main details I wanted to talk about in this video. If you found it useful, be sure to leave a like, and hopefully I'll see you again on the next one.